Good morning, Dan and Amy. So, Amy, I know you were basking in the glory of the big Iowa win over Iowa State
I don't know
this
if you
weekend.
heard it was 42-3.
No, I
Iowa.
did. Yeah,
Yeah.
heard. Although nobody actually probably it's a good thing they mentioned it because I'm sure nobody was paying attention to Iowa football.
Oh, that's so rude. It's a big in-state rivalry, Iowa State and Iowa, and they did a lovely, lovely ceremony honoring those who lost their lives in 9/11 before, and no one took a knee during the national anthem, and it was just,
And you were so moved you haven't changed your clothes since Saturday night.
I haven't. I'm wearing the game day bibs.
Yeah, it's nice. Well, the NFL was a bit of a mixed bag. There were some proper tributes on the opening Sunday of the NFL season, coinciding with 9/11, of course, the 15th anniversary. And then there were some less redeeming moments. There was NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell suggested that any player that wore patriotic cleats to commemorate 9/11 as a Tennessee Titans linebacker wanted to do would be fine. Now, players did have like 9/11 ribbon decals on their helmets.
Okay, wait. And they can wear pink cleats during Breast Cancer Awareness Month, but they can't wear patriotic cleats on September 11th.
Well, but see, it's all got to be sanctioned by the NFL. So one could ask even more to and by the way, there was the Port Authority Police Benevolent Association in New Jersey suggested that they would pay the fine of anyone who wore the cleats.
Great.
So they were so upset with pay the fine of this Titans linebacker, Avery Williamson, that wanted to wear the cleats if he was indeed fined. They were so outraged at Roger Goodell's position. But it's interesting. So you think about the sanctioning of what you can and cannot wear, what you can and cannot do, but no such sanctioning about protesting during the national anthem by, for example, kneeling or sitting down or expressing
Black power, the raising of the fist.
Well, I mean,
a few of the players did that after the anthem was sung.
Right. So 4 Miami Dolphins players did that this weekend where they played in Seattle.
Yeah, but these 4 did it right in front of a Marine who served this country, put his life on the line for this country, and they had the audacity and the nerve to kneel down in front of them. They're sick. They should have been suspended. And I'm so glad the Dolphins lost. So that's called karma.
It's also called Seattle being a better team, particularly at home.
That too, Dan.
But there is a little bit of good news on this front, too, for those who think there should be some repercussions, some people that hold other people accountable for what they've done. The Air Academy Federal Credit Union, which serves mainly members of the military and their families, dropped Denver Broncos linebacker Brandon Marshall as its spokesperson after he kneeled down in protest during the national anthem on Thursday night in the Broncos game versus the Panthers. The CEO of the Air Academy Federal Credit Union, Glenn Strobe, saying, "The company respects Marshall's right of expression, but his actions are not a representation of our organization and membership." So it's nice to see private action come from, the corporate sponsors where it's not coming from the leadership in the NFL, and make that be a model on college campuses and in so many other parts of our society.
And one highlight of the weekend that I don't think a lot of people, I don't know if you caught this last night, but during the Patriots-Cardinals game, there's a player called Amendola. He got out and was holding the flag with the other participants. And I thought, and the person next to him was so surprised, and she said, "Right on."
Yeah.
You saw her mouth those words, and it was great, and I almost cried.
You know why he's called Amendola is because that's his name.
Okay.
Yeah,
well,
that's why they call him that.
No, Amendola.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure I was pronouncing it correctly.
Yeah.
Everybody should go and buy his jersey today instead of buying Colin Kaepernick's jersey.
Well, this is a perfect segue to our next guest, who we've wanted to talk to for some time, so this is fun. She is Taya Kyle. She, of course, is the widow of American sniper Chris Kyle. And they've got an event in Chicago with the Chris Kyle Foundation. It's the Chris Kyle Frog Foundation. He was a Navy SEAL, you remember. Yes. Chris Kyle, frogfoundation.org. They're hosting their inaugural foundation event on February 25th of 2017 in Chicago. And the mission of the foundation is to honor God, country, and families who serve by providing experiences that strengthen military and first responder marriages and families. And with that, we're pleased to welcome Taya Kyle to the show. Taya, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So before we get into more detail about the foundation and your work, um, the kind of intersection of military and politics here. In the primary campaign, you endorsed Texas Governor Rick Perry, and obviously his candidacy didn't work out. But I wonder if you're staying politically active in advance of the interests of military families and participating in the general election between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, I'm not participating a whole lot other than just being a citizen. I think we're in a really hard place right now, I think, in the country where these are the two candidates. And, I just think people are having a little bit, the people I talk to anyway, are having a little bit of an issue trying to make a decision because I don't think either candidate seems very appealing to a lot of people. And that's true in every election. But I think with this one, it's even harder because it's not just that people don't know if they agree with their positions or their stances. I think they're wondering if they have character. They're wondering if they have morals and values at any level that they can hang on to and get behind. And I think that's a position I don't know that we've been in before as a country.
Taya, which candidate, though, do you think would be better for military members and family members?
It's tough. I mean, I definitely think that on this one, I would say Donald Trump is. I think he's a little bit more invested in the success of the military. I certainly am always going to have a hard time getting over the facts with Hillary Clinton and Benghazi, and no matter what court things have transpired, no matter how much I believe she was coached to avoid questions and didn't quite answer, and there's been a whole dance, where there's a puppet master and puppeteers, and it seems to have worked okay for people who want to support her. But even if we set that aside, and that's a huge deal to me, there were some people very close to Chris who got hurt, and there are a lot of people that are very close to that situation who feel very betrayed by her. But, even if you go to her general stances on the military, I think she's very out of touch. I was looking at some of the things that she planned to do for the military, and one of them was helping the military spouses pursue jobs. And she was saying that they were unemployed or underemployed, and studies show that it costs our economy $1 billion per year. And so she'll expand state and federal resources. I got this right off her website, right? Mm-hmm. To engage the private sector and all of these things. And I thought, this is the answer to a lot of things, it seems like, with Hillary. She'll expand resources. She'll throw more money at it. She'll get committees to oversee it and all of these things. And to me, that's out of touch. That's not, the military spouses don't need that. They're not asking for that. They're not looking for that. The problem is they change duty stations all the time, and it doesn't make sense for them to get a job in one place when they change and go to the other one. Or they, like me, have plenty of education, plenty of job experience. I mean, I had a great career, and I chose to stay home with my children because my husband was gone all the time, and I wanted one parent to be that stable person for my children. So to me, I could go on and on. I don't want to take our whole interview time on that. But to me, I think there are a lot of words, as it happens in politics often with many candidates, that, gosh, you could read them and you could look at them and think, oh, well, they care and they're in touch. It's so out of touch. It's the same as Donald Trump saying, within 30 days he would have a plan to defeat ISIS. It's like, well, I like that he wants to do that. I just don't know that within 30 days we're going to have a plan that actually we get the plan lined out, we execute, and boom, ISIS is done. I just, things aren't that simple.
Well, right. And so to the resource issue as well, I mean, this speaks to what has happened at the Veterans Affairs Department and the VA scandal, frankly, in terms of the quality of care they're providing, keeping the promise. And it's interesting because very few people have suggested it's a resource issue. It's a leadership management issue, and that's something that's more complicated to tackle.
Oh, I mean, that is 100%. If I could, I've talked to so many veterans. I've lived the experience with the VA, with Chris, with the benefits, and I can tell you that the lack of accountability is astronomical. And I can tell you that I've gone into VA hospitals and talked to some of the directors there and said, well, how are you doing with your, with, let's say, just pain management and the veterans and giving them other options besides just throwing a bottle of pills at them and so forth. And, man, they'll outline a program that sounds pretty darn good. And I'm thinking, oh, man, this is a VA hospital that other VA hospitals could take note of and model their behavior after. And then I go talk to a veteran who's been treated there. And what I've been told by the director and leadership is utter crap. The veterans are no different than any others in the country. They're not getting the treatment that is specialized to them. There are a lot of people slipping through the cracks. And I think I think Marcus Luttrell said it to me first, where he said if he could do anything with the VA, get rid of it and give them private health care insurance to go find their own doctors, and we get back to capitalism where doctors have to work to get your business a little bit more, where you have a choice of doctors and you're not stuck in the system in the VA. And I think that's the right move, because I do think it's an absolute disaster there. And I'm not saying that there aren't great doctors and there aren't some people who really try, but for example, in Texas, there is we've hired an agency that is housed out of the same office as the VA, the regional office, and they're both paid by the government. And one agency is hired, and their sole purpose is to fight the VA.
Mm. We're talking to Taya Kyle. She's the wife, widow of American sniper, Navy SEAL Chris Kyle. The foundation, Chris Kyle Frog Foundation, chriskylefrogfoundation.org. Taya, there's this iconic scene in the movie American Sniper with Chris at the dinner table with his dad, and his dad explaining that there's three kinds of people in this world: the sheep, the wolves, and the sheepdogs. And we're the sheepdogs who protect the sheep from the wolves. And I wonder, since when I've heard you speak on television, you talk a lot about culture and morality and character. And I wonder if so many of our problems are about the lack of honor that is inculcated in young people, and frankly, that is present in our elected representatives, the political class, where we don't understand the kind of sheepdog ethic that was explained in the movie.
I couldn't agree with you more. I really do feel like that is the crux of a lot of our problems, is we've gone so far away. And I know every generation feels like the generation behind them is screwing it up, or they're a little bit more loose than the generation that went before them. I get that, but I do feel like this is a little bit different in that I feel like we're tired. We've been beaten down as a society, so we just kind of say, oh, I don't know, is it that important if they lie? I mean, everybody lies. Or, oh, I don't know, is it that big deal if, I'm talking about presidential candidates, people that, gosh, if anyone, we're asking them to lead the people. We would like them to have a little more character. Oh, I don't know if it's that big a deal. Or, well, this one lies more than that one. And then, some of it is, gosh, I could go on for days on this, but, some of the problem is, too, that you can't, if you're in a political race, you can't sue someone for libel or slander. So they can people can make up lies about presidential candidates or any person running for office as well, and they can't really fight back on that. And so, things that started out as a good idea have been abused to the point where now we don't even know what to believe. So it's not like the media could tell us something and we say, oh, wow, I didn't know that. That's good to know. We go, oh, I don't know. I don't know if I believe them either. We're all looking at each other like we don't believe anything anyone is saying anymore. And that's a hard problem to have, as well as, I'm a mom. If I love music, and it's hard to find any music that isn't just full of it,
full of swear
immorality.
words.
It's just cussing, drinking, drugs, sex, which, I get it. Like, that's part of life. There's drugs, there's sex. I'm fine with that. I'm not a total prude. But my point is, can we not have some music that is just, it's not like, Disney Channel that's appropriate for our kids, that you go, that's all right. This is just about life, not just, drugs and sleeping around. And I don't know. I feel like I'm an old lady sometimes, but I don't think I'm asking that much.
It's okay. I'm with you, sister. So this foundation, the Chris Kyle Frog Foundation, we're glad you've chosen Chicago to host the first annual event, which is going to be the 25th of February. How do you provide strength for first responders and military members through their marriages and family?
Yeah, so that's a great question, because I do feel like there are a lot of charities and great organizations out there, and I didn't want to just start another one just to start it. It's a lot of work, and it's something that we pour our hearts into, so I wanted to make sure it had a niche that wasn't being met. And I think we found it, and that is just that we really work to keep the marriages intact. I've lived it. I know how hard it is. I have a lot of friends who are first responders and veterans, and I know that marriage, we all know this, right? 1 in 2 marriages doesn't survive in the United States anyway. So you add to that all of the hardships involved in the service marriage, and there are a lot. And now we're up to the 70, 80, and 90% divorce rate. And these people love each other enough to get into a marriage they knew wouldn't be easy in the first place. And so we believe that if, in the Bible it says you put God first, your marriage second, and your kids third. And if you do that, everybody thrives. So we're trying to work on that marriage element and give them a foundation. I also know guys who, when they go through a really hard time and their marriage falls apart, they start circling the drain a lot faster and they go down a lot harder. So we're just trying to get get couples the time they need with revitalization retreats. We're expanding our programming very slowly just to make sure we can try to do one thing really well and then expand. But we've done date night out and revitalization retreats, which is to give those couples time to be together, and we love them up and we give them special experiences that are tailored to them. And it can be super low key or it can be a little bit more city life, whatever they like to do. And we just get that time component back to them so they remember what it's all about, and they apply for it or they're nominated by other people. So these couples are really people that care, but they've had some hard times, and they have a chance at making it. And we've just gotten some phenomenal feedback about marriages being saved through even just those gestures. So I find that to be pretty powerful if we can save a marriage just by giving them some time together and some time away to say other people in the community love your marriage and we want it to last.
She is Taya Kyle. She's the widow of American sniper Navy SEAL Chris Kyle. The foundation, Chris Kyle Frog Foundation. Go to chriskylefrogfoundation.org. The gala event that she's speaking of in Chicago is February 25th of next year. Taya Kyle, thanks so much for joining us. Good luck with the foundation.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
And she joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.